What is up, everybody? Hope all is well with you. Happy Monday. Talk about some of the insanity that's gone over the last couple of days. Obviously, the stuff with Trump. There's only so much I could take with that. This war is going to come to an end at some point, and it's not going to end the way that Zelensky and them want it. So there's only so much. I don't know what people think. Oh, my God, he's going to fight the Russians single-handedly. It's not going to happen. I said it today, and I'll say it again real quick. Zelensky's got an addiction to fame, stardom. He loves being the Churchill of the modern times with a bit of panache and style that, is just his jam. And he loves it. He didn't have to come here on Friday. There's no reason for him to come here. Could have signed this thing, could have been done with it. He didn't. He came here. It became a giant cluster. And then next thing you know, they're still going at it. He wants to prolong the war. I said it on Friday. I'll say it again. I said it this morning throughout all of my shows I've done today. Great. Go ahead, dude. Prolong the war. Get your people killed. All of that stuff. Do it on somebody else's dime. Okay? Do it on somebody else's dime. We have enough problems. We have enough issues. And we don't need to spend any more. I don't want to see any more people die. But alas, here we are. So it is what it is. We move on from there. Hassan Piker is he's a big lefty, which, again, whatever. He's on Twitch. Says a lot of crazy stuff, as people tend to do all over the place, and get away with it in certain aspects. In other aspects, they don't. This is very interesting. So he's on Twitch talking about Medicare, Medicaid fraud, because, Doge, terrifying everybody. It's what Doge does. That's the only thing Doge is supposed to do is like, could you scare people a lot more? And Doge's like, yeah, I think we can. So he's got an idea of what should be done when it comes to this, because everybody's fear is there's not going to be any money. Everything's going to go. By the way, there's not going to be any money at the rate we're going anyways. Does anybody understand that? It's going to shrink, and then it's going to go down 20%. So it's going to be more expensive to live in the next several years, and it's going to drop by 20%. And that's where we're going to be if we don't take the opportunity to actually do something about it now. And whether it's President Trump or another president, either you think you're going to do one term and you're going to try to fix this, or you're going to do 2 terms and your second term is fixing this. Because people, they bitch, they whine, they moan. Nobody wants to see cuts to their stuff, and nobody wants to see any situation where there's going to be taxes raised. So I don't know, unless we have magic fairy dust, or there's it's the universe. It's got its own lottery. We could win $1 gazillion and we'll be fine. If that ain't happening, then we're going to have to figure out shit that we're going to need to do to fix this. Hassan Piker, though, talking about Rick Scott and what we need to do, apparently, to handle
that fraud is not coming from individuals. It's coming
Medicaid.
from providers. They're not tackling providers. They're not actually going after like false billing. They are trying to cut recipients. Okay. It is not happening at the point of recipients. If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott. Okay. You wouldn't make Rick Scott, former governor of Florida, Rick Scott. You wouldn't make him the current, what is his current office? What is he? He's the Richard Lynn Scott, is an American attorney, businessman, politician, Navy veteran, serving as the senior United States Senator from Florida, a seat he has held since 2019. And also, I believe this past election cycle, he was literally the f***ing head of the, what was it, like the Senate committee or something? Like the Republican fundraising initiatives.
So
the reason why I'm saying if you cared about Medicare or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott is because, and not make him a prominent part of the Republican Party, is because he, to this day, is still also known as committing the largest Medicare fraud in U.S. history.
He's right. He did. Well, he himself didn't, but the company he was with did. And quite frankly, he paid the price for it. It's falling around everywhere. And he's right. We got to go after all of these providers that do crazy, wacky stuff, right? Like you some of this stuff, you get it brace, they charge $500, Medicare and insurance, all these companies, they pay for it. That's ridiculous. We recognize that. But that's still cutting waste and fraud. And when they talk about, well, they're going to be cutting stuff from individuals, they're not. So the way it's going to work is what you thought was going to be the we're going to give you X, it's now only going to be Y. So we're not cutting from what was the wherever it is at this moment in time for each provider. It's just the raise isn't going to be as high. And that's considered, of course, in today's world of insanity, a cut, which is not true. It's not a cut. It's not. You're just not getting as much. And I want to cut waste, fraud, and abuse. There's no doubt. I want to streamline things. I want to make it easier. But we have to come to a realization in this country that this shit isn't going to go on forever. Unfunded liabilities. I talked about that on my show today. And if you're from California, you understand unfunded liabilities. We talk about it all the time. Why is that? Because unfunded liabilities is what California has promised to people, and they don't have the money for it at this moment in time. That is what we have at the federal level as well. With Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. We have all of this stuff that is unfunded liabilities. Stuff that we're probably double the $36 trillion. Think about that. We're closer to probably $80 trillion of unfunded liabilities. I'm 50-something, maybe 48, depends on a good day. And I will tell you this. I could live another 45 years. And do I think I'm going to see Social Security? No. Do I think I'm going to see any of this stuff? No, not really. Because we weren't prepared for it. We didn't do it the right way. And then we decided to spend money all over the place in places we should never have spent money. I'm not just talking about Ukraine. I'm talking about expanding programs from, hey, this is supposed to be for, moms who've got some kids and are struggling to, this is for pretty much anybody. And next thing you know, you look up and you're like, pretty much anybody cost a hell of a lot. Cost too damn much. Want to get this shit under control? My God, if you and I, we ran our household like this, we'd be screwed. And many people have. The difference is they stop giving you a credit card. They stop extending your credit. You don't have a chance to print your own credit card. Well, not legally. Some people may. So that's the insanity of which they work for. But Chad, don't you want them to cut? I do. But I also want them to get it right. Because he's Donald Trump doesn't make him evil. Well, he says things that are uncomfortable. I was talking to somebody today, and I said, look, you may not like how he says stuff, but it doesn't make him wrong, which seems to be the thing that matters the most out of all of this is it's not what he says, it's how he says it that matters. Well, we need to make cuts. We need to do things that are smart. Well, Elon's evil and bad. Case in point today, Noah, very upset about Noah stuff.
We're fighting for the climate. We shall not be moved.
Keep your hands off it. Tiny hands. There you go. That was Noah throwing a fit. Why were they throwing a fit? Well, they laid off some people. How many people? About 7% of their workforce. That's it. 7% of their workforce. No more than that. 7% of their workforce. They didn't lay off any more than that. They didn't lay off a ton. They laid off 7% of the workforce because they need to make cuts. Nobody wants cuts in there. Have you noticed that? Like, no, all of them are like, they've got this sense of entitlement of like, hey, you can't cut me. I was listening to a guy on CNN today, and I thought to myself, Jiminy Cricket, dude. It's like, we're civil servants. We're all this. We're that. We're the whole. Okay, that sounds great. But like, we're making cuts. And we're cutting 7% of the workforce. So how much of that was actually 7% of they just gouged it? Probationary? And people who took retirement, took that early payout and bounced. So they didn't cut 7%, just walk in and just say, we're cutting 7%. Probationary. Clinton did that along with Al Gore before he invented the internet. And his wife tried to ruin music. And it's 7%. Well, now the oceans are going to rise even higher. Really? Were you the person stopping them? Well, you just don't understand, Chad. That person could have stopped it. No, that person wasn't going to stop. You had a great job and a cush job, and now that job's gone. And I'm sorry you feel that way, and it sucks. I saw Kathy Hochul today saying, come on down. They'll hire you in New York. Fantastic. Need a meteorologist? Maybe that's the place. Those people that took that 8 months to bounce, that early retirement, great, fantastic, good for you as well. But settle down as you're out there banging on your drums, because as we all know, drums are stupid unless you're in a band. And you guys are not in a band. And finally, one more crazy thing tonight. We move to Boston, where the car is in Boston. And this is fantastic. So a guy, stop me if you've heard this one before, chases a couple into a Chick-fil-A. And while in that Chick-fil-A, after trying to stab them outside of that Chick-fil-A and chase them into the Chick-fil-A, that person is then met with an off-duty officer who says, hey, bro, why don't we calm down a little bit? And that person does not want to calm down. And eventually that person is expired by the off-duty officer. Off-duty officer goes, pew, 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 and expires. He's semi-expired there. And then he ends up going to the hospital where he expired. So for whatever reason, the mayor decides to get involved. She's already got enough stuff that she's going through. So she's like, oh my God, let's totally get involved. And so does the police chief. And which I expect, okay, there's a shooting, you're going to talk about this. Now, mind you, this is a person chasing somebody into Chick-fil-A, and not because they're like, oh, I need some nuggets and stuff. It's like, I want to stab these people. And that person, they, again, expired, no longer with us. The mayor,
My
Mayor Wu, had this to
condolences
say.
and all of our thoughts are with the family of the individual whose life has been lost. And I'm also thinking of all the people who were impacted here today in one of the busier parts of the city with this tragedy.
Thank you, my friends over at Fox. Insane. Why you got involved, I don't know. But now you've turned it into a shitstorm. Secondly, a man tries to kill other people, a police officer who she said we absolutely, commend him for doing, this. No, the thing is, you've got somebody who tried to kill other people, and he tried to stop it from happening. He did his job. And no, we don't want to see any loss of life. That being said, why is it you have to come out and the first thing is, well, we'd like to apologize for the guy that was a dick and tried to stab people. No, we'd like to apologize that we killed him. No, he killed himself. He killed himself. And once again, another mayor, like a lot of these mayors in blue cities, you don't get it. You miss out on the whole. It's right in front of you. It's like the room is right there. It's easy to read. Don't be ridiculous. Don't be stupid. Don't fight a fight you don't need to fight. Don't get involved in something you don't need to get involved to. But you did. And, she apologized to all the Chick-fil-A patrons as well. Sorry, your dinner was ruined. There was one person that stood in there and went, yeah, I'm going to eat these. Good God. Incredibly insane. A lot of stuff to get to tomorrow. I want you to follow along across all my social media. We're doing more of these every single day. A lot more of these. Check out Chad Benson Show TV on the YouTube. If you're watching it there, like and subscribe. Appreciate when you do that. Same thing with our Twitter, our Instagram, and all of our other stuff. And more live streams, please. We're going to have a lot more of these coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're going to start hitting them several times a day, as much as we possibly can. I do a lot of radio, so I can't always get to as many as I want during the day. But you guys have a blessed rest of your night, and we'll do it again, as always, tomorrow. And again, follow along across everywhere. And if you're watching on YouTube and everywhere else, like and subscribe. Appreciate that. You guys have a great